Hello and welcome to Yogi Natraj Astrology. So today we will discuss in a few topics. The first one is Rahu and Mars are together, the impact of this combination and the movement of Mars and the other planets. We will also see what happens to Joe Biden in his third year, fourth year of presidency. He's doing okay right now. And then what happens to Kamala Harris? So let's get started. So if I open up the horoscope for today, so March 10th, and we can see that Mars and Rahu are together. So Mars is almost coming out of this Kala Sarpa. So Kala Sarpa is Rahu and Ketu axis, and all the planets are in between. So what happens in that? Anybody who has that in their chart, so they will succeed, but it's after a lot of effort. So in general, it takes a lot of effort. If you have Kala Sarpa, it can act in both ways. Again, it depends on your individual chart. But in general, those who have that, the progress is slow. We can see the world, the situation, similar situation in the world, a very difficult situation with this Mars. So we can see today, Biden passed the COVID bill, and it will be a lot of economic respite for a lot of Americans. And he's also helping Central America and different countries. So we can understand in the December 13th, uh, the solar eclipse, the Central American countries where the shadow fell the most of this eclipse. So we find countries like Brazil and other South American countries, they are really struggling with these effects. They are really struggling. Hospitals are full, and we can see so many countries, people from so many countries are migrating, and southern US border is now literally crowded because of the devastation in Central America. And one of the parts of this bill is to help Central American countries, also 4 billion, I guess, for developing them so that they can stop the migration to the US. Hope they hope they are able to overcome the effect of this devastation, especially with this $4 billion help from the US. Now, we find that this process of recovery is beginning now. We can find that there is so much of vaccines and all this being administered. So, this whole thing, this whole virus, most astrologers have noted is Saturn, Jupiter being together. So, it's a warlike situation, it's a change. So, many people, even nobody believes the World Health Organization now, especially when they say that it cannot be definitely said if it came from the lab, it cannot be definitely said if it came from the market, it might have been an Australian cow. I mean, so basically, Saturn, Jupiter coming together, it's like karma payback time. It's very strong karma payback time. So and we can see that it it was almost a warlike situation where people were really scared. Fear was the main thing. And this COVID happened in waves. So whenever Jupiter, Saturn were together, the effect was very devastating. And as long as they were together, the effect was very strong. When they got separated, like Jupiter came back, and the effect was a bit reduced. But then the eclipse comes back, and then there was a combination on December 21st, and then uh, it rebound with this new variant and mutant variant and all that. So right now Jupiter will stay with Saturn. Now if we look at around April 7th, so that's when Jupiter will move to the next house. You can see that's when you will begin to feel the effect, like the so now countries like India have opened up more. That is a great victory for India. People were expecting a lot of people to die there, but India has withstood that onslaught. And Jupiter has, once it moves over, so there will be a relief. So from April about 7th, things will start accelerating even better. However, if you go to September again, uh, say September 13th, it's almost there. September 14th. So we can see that Jupiter and Saturn come back together. So Jupiter is in retrograde, it'll come back, and then with this combination, gradually there will be a second bout of flu and COVID, whatever. So there will be again a little bit of an emergency like situation, but it will accelerate in October. However, it will be done by, let's go to November. So if I do November 20th and Jupiter goes back, you can see it just crossed over, and then they get separated, Jupiter and Saturn, and things will slowly come back to normal. But again, uh, the effect of COVID, uh, there will be a lot of push for vaccines and everything. So if you are planning to travel, now there will be a little bit, it'll get a little bit better in the summer. However, this winter October period, so don't plan any travel for October because it's going to get disrupted. So end of September, October, up till mid-November, things will be a bit disrupted. But after that, there will be a grip on the virus again, and things will begin to ease out after that, as we can see. Now, there will be another short wave next year, really small one, but around the same winter time. But this is the last major strike of this COVID, this karma. So we can see that it just like last year, it came in waves. So there was a bit of relief in summer, then it picked up again. So whenever Jupiter, Saturn come close, it picked up. All these combinations are, affecting a lot. Uh, then in winter, after this eclipse, is when December 21st, all this combination of planets, and there was a spurt in the mutant variant. And then right now, the planets are gradually beginning to come out of this Rahu Ketu axis, and then it will be gone. Mm. So that will be, uh, right now we are in March 10th. Yeah, so that's pretty much the situation with the world, the war-like situation. So some countries unfortunately try to take advantage, just like China. Eventually they'll pay the price because of being over aggressive against Australia, over aggressive against India, so many countries against America. So eventually, all that over the years, once Chinese dependency goes away, it will act against China. So countries will slowly work to go independent of China gradually. Now, going back to Joe Biden's chart, uh, today I just wanted to briefly discuss about Joe Biden. So, right now he's undergoing a very good period of Jupiter and Rahu, which is a good period in the beginning. So, Rahu has this funny character. So, in the beginning, he lifts you up, but then in the end, he separates you from your dearest thing. So, I've seen in this last part when of Jupiter Rahu, uh, that Rahu, in the end, in the very end, he separates you from your most dearest object. So that's supposed to end. So the 3 months, so 2022, August, September, around that time, we'll see the first signs. So there could be the first signs of bad health for Joe Biden. Although he is doing good now, he'll have plenty of support. The monies that he is bringing in will run him through like a year, but then the economic growth has to pick up. He has to deliver on his promises, and however, his health will begin to fail at this time. Now he's entering the next one that he will enter is September 20th, 2022. After that, he's going into Saturn period. Now we see Saturn is in his seventh. It's Marga. Moreover, it's weak. It's 0.87. It's less than 1. It's not very strong. So definitely his health will be affected. Maraka Dasha. And that could be really fatal for him. So 2023 could be pretty devastating, debilitating for his health. And at the same time, we find that Kamala Harris's chart, so she's undergoing Rahu and Jupiter right now. So she's not directly in power, indirectly, she's in power. Then Rahu, Saturn. So Saturn is ninth from Rahu, lucky, sort of a stroke of luck. Definitely she will uh, become the president, albeit for a year and a half, year and a half, until the next president is sworn in. And however, there is something very peculiar about her chart is that her sun is debilitated, Surya is debilitated. Now everybody knows that she withdrew from the Democratic primary right in the first round, and she was not even a strong candidate. However, she acted well. Her, you know, personality was harnessed by being secondary to Biden. But on her own, her sun is debilitated. So now, if you look at why is this important, because if you look at the queen, her sun and moon are exalted. The Queen of England in this position where the Jupiter is. So the moon is exalted, sun is in a very strong position. So the royal planets are sun and the moon. So we can see that when one of them is debilitated, then there is no way you directly become that directly you come to power. Moreover, her Mars is also debilitated. So very career oriented and anything for her career, and everybody knows pretty manipulative, not very straightforward. And we can see that her sister Meena Harris is directly attacking Modi, and Kamala has to be diplomatic from the government side, but She's doing all the attacking there, and it's not a nice sight to see that America needs India as a very good ally, and it was during Trump's time. Now, if she keeps attacking like this, and everybody knows she's the niece of Kamala Harris, and Mina Harris was also warned by the president's advisors not to use Kamala Harris's name for, selling merchandise, making money. But however, she's doing that, and that pretty much sums up, what they both in terms of leadership, which will not be liked by a lot of people. Oh, once she assumes that single leadership, there'll be a lot of pressure, and you cannot go on with slogans at that time. You have to deliver. People want. Now it's a very good time. You can just hand out packages, which is the need. But after a certain time, you need the economy. You need people to be self-sustaining, and that's where you need real leadership. And we can see because the sun is debilitated, so definitely they will make her a candidate for 2024, but there's hardly any chance of winning, uh, because on her own, because of Biden, yes, when somebody is there, your stroke of luck comes when you are in a position where somebody else's position you can take over. But on your own, this chart is very weak to become the president. See, overall, right now, this COVID relief, this situation, the whole world will get into a recovery mode. This mutant situation will also get over in a month and a half. So by April, mid-April, things should stabilize, and it'll be a good period until October. So don't plan any travel for October. Then it'll slow down. Then it'll pick up again. November, later, second half of November, people would have been already fed up with it. So nobody wants to slow down. So people will be more prepared. There'll be more vaccine push though because of the second wave and small waves like that. It'll become like flu shots. So those industries, people will make a lot of money. But also, this is a great opportunity for natural remedies because people have realized that nothing better than your own immunity. So there will be a lot of awakening of yoga, natural healing herbs, and all these different things. So uh, no matter what, uh, it's a great opportunity because people will be looking for the right knowledge. Nobody wants to live in fear and suffering. There are so many things which we can do ourselves in terms of health, in terms of karma also. Remain sinless, because according to Ayurveda, we get disease because of sin. So if we remain sin free, then there is no disease. We remain always happy. So let's try to be that way. And the world's leadership, there will be a lot of. Right now, Biden is trying to bring back and establish all diplomatic relations. But in the third year, but for example, we can see that India, however, dealt with China without America's help, and even struck a deal with Pakistan without America. So, however, the challenge is how America and Europe can get together and face China. And that is where Biden's relationship, he will do well in that. But because of health, in the third year, things will slowly weaken. But after 2024, whoever wins the elections, lessons learned, it will be a better leadership. More or less, it looks like the Republicans will be back in power after 2024. So, keeping fingers crossed and wishing Best of luck to all of you. Keep your health strong, keep your immune strong. Tomorrow is Shivaratri, so meditate on Shiva. So, as we can see, Veda knowledge is one science, so astrology is one part. So, good astrologer, a good is a good yogi, is a good devotee. So, all branches of Vedic knowledge are intermingled. Means you need to have a good yogic knowledge, Vedic knowledge, health knowledge, and astrology knowledge. They are all intertwined because all are wonderfully connected. So, hope to make more videos where we can show these wonderful connections of how your eating can affect your astrological karma also. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me in today. And I'll make more videos tomorrow on the Shivaratri and other festivals coming up. Thank you. Namaste.